Hey guys, welcome to our review of Kamen Rider Saber episode 16. As always, I'm your host, Frozen Stratos. Here with me today we have...
The Cinder Blaze.
And I'm Aresol, reporting in from the... Yeah, I was going to do a weatherman thing. I fumbled it. It's snowing here, and it's really cold and really windy.
It's snowing? Man, I want to talk about that,
shit.
because Saber... It's Saber, and you know how that goes. I will say... Oh, shoot, you're not allowed to see comments yet. I will say... looking... It did feel better looking back on the episode. Because, as Alex was saying, toward the end of it, you know, at least we get the promise of we're kind of starting over. We still have the same contrived way to, like, I don't know, screw up the team? Whatever? And I can't... We gotta stop with that. I really wish they would have given it, like, 2 episodes. Because, having them immediately doubt each other after that, and, like, not even talking to each other about it in any meaningful way, it's just a frustrating amount of miscommunication, and I recognize that's what a drama is. It's miscommunication.
Yeah, but it felt a little off.
It did,
for
yeah.
that part in particular. For Kenzan, like, he's just... let's just not talk about him right now. Not that I have an issue with him, but, like, for Rentaro, he was talking about how, like, the guild, like, raised him as family, and I'm kind of thinking, like, they didn't ever go into depth about the Southern Base, like, at all. They mentioned it a couple times, but they didn't, like, really, like, say it was, like, you know, a really important thing. It's just like, oh, like, we do our thing here and they do their thing there. I never really understood, like, if they were really, like, communicating back and forth, because we never really saw that, like, for the first 15 episodes of this series. So it just felt a little bit weird that the Southern Base now has, like, all its importance, and, like, when they gave an order to hunt down Toma, they followed it without even, like, you know, thinking about it. Like, these guys are basically strangers to us, and, like, these guys are, like, trusting it with, like, all their hearts. It's like, well, I don't trust them either. And then later on the later on in the fight, right when this fight was about to start, Tomo was talking about, like, power, and he just mentioned the word. You know, he wants to know, like, who's, like, going searching for the power. And then Buster and Slash are just like, power, chain of betrayal. That was literally the connecting tissue between, like, where they were before and, like, why they're fighting him now. It was so feeble. And when I, like, rewatched that scene, I was like, that is such a huge slap in the face. Like, what was that bond that they were kind of, like, growing these last 15 episodes if it's just going to be, like, torn apart that easily?
Yeah. I don't mind the idea behind the events of this episode.
Yeah. I agree.
The execution's really poor. It's very rushed. It's very sudden. I kind of just wanted... It's funny because Alex was saying this during the watch along of, like, wanting to avoid the plot at all costs. And once the plot started kicking in, I was like, yeah, no, he's right. I don't want this right now.
Yeah.
I kind of just want to take a break after the arc we've had.
Yeah.
And just an episode. Just give me an episode, and then you can start, you know, seeding, you know, dissent amongst the order.
Yeah. Like, oh, go ahead.
I didn't really have anything to say. I was going to trail off.
I mean,
like,
you were about to start first. It's fine.
Yeah, I was like, why you started talking now? I was the first person to cut off. All right. So, like, when that one lady was kind of, like, going around, or the lady in black was going around trying to, like, you know, sow the dissent amongst them and whatever, they could have taken 2 episodes to do that. Like, she didn't have to do it all in 1 episode.
Yeah.
And they already had a plan for this episode. Rentro's all like, "Hey, let's do New Year's stuff," and he goes off by himself, does the whole thing. We don't see any of it, like any of his subplots, and then just like, "I come back to the main plot," and then just kind of get roped in, and we're just like, "This is what I want to see," but
Yeah.
Also, I like the idea of Rintaro's motivation being like this. These people are my family. They raised me. I need
Hmm.
like I trust them. And then having that called into question
Right.
would spawn that kind of reaction. It just felt like it went from 0 to 60
Hmm.
with him. Uh,
It. I mean, like it. It doesn't help that all the setup we actually did get, like the setup, if you can call it that, for the Southern base is like, all right, name drop. We basically get their whole shtick. They're like the Northern base, except Southern. That's about it. That's all we got. So like, you can't really say that you set it up earlier for only now to have it be any amount of important. Like, sure, she walked around in the background for a while, but that doesn't count. Who did that
yeah,
help? Um,
Kanto.
that's true. It
it
did.
helped
It helped him
helped him
die.
die quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, and I don't know. What a. It sucks because this was a Sakamoto episode, um, and it's, to its detriment, it quickly led to a really fast-paced fight, and they really wanted to get the cool stuff in, which I get, but also now didn't really feel like the time. Um, Early on, like like what Aresol was saying, we barely get room to breathe until we're thrust into this new plot, and then we're gonna get thrust into a new status quo with how they're gonna be doing books now and how they're gonna be handling the villains of the week. Which it does seem a lot more interesting. Like what Alex was saying right after, we actually could get a chance to care about the bad guys for a little bit. Um,
Yeah,
it shows promise, and on paper, the plot points they hit really good. It didn't work out, like with most of Saber. Like they
yeah,
establish a really good lore, they don't execute on things well, and then we're left with a bit of a mess.
yeah,
So it's
and
just Saber as usual for me.
yeah, and wait, didn't like the worlds get connected like temporarily 15 years ago as well? Like, wasn't that the thing that was creating the portal that was sucking up Luna in like the prologue for the series?
Yeah.
Like, weren't
Mm.
those two worlds connected before, and wouldn't like humans have already been kind of connected to the Wonder, Ride worlds or whatever?
I
So he
mean,
could have like done this from the get-go. Like, I don't think like anything has really changed except they've got like a fresh batch of humans, I guess, that are affected by it.
I wonder if like now they're able to create a new crop of villains because they opened it up again. Like I assume once they closed the gate the first time, and separated the world, so did the memories of that world. Like it just cut itself off, from, I guess, from our timeline or whatever. Like they separated themselves or something. I don't know. Either way, I wonder if the people that remembered are the ones that got turned into the monsters somehow, and then um this time they're starting to create their own new monsters because they remember. They're starting to see visions of it, and then it gives this whole context of like, oh shoot, we've been fighting humans the whole time. Those ones were a little bit more far gone, um, but they could have potentially been saved. The whole Gaim shtick, I guess. Like when he realized the first monster he fought was someone important to him.
Yeah. Um, I kind of lost you there. I'm not gonna lie.
Sure.
Like it got very convoluted, very fast, and
That's
at least
Saber.
you're not quite there yet, buddy.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, the villains, awful. I don't know why they even have that stupid dude in black. Like, just from like the start of the episode, like his overacting, just really like he's already like my least favorite villain, and they just keep on pushing him further and further down. Like I'm just creating new levels of like how bad of a villain like some of these guys are. Just
I will
eh.
say, I'm happy that they actually brought the set back, like their actual villain set, because like they've just been green screen for the last few episodes, and I don't understand why.
I don't care about that set. I care about the
I
freaking editorial room set. Like that's the one that we're waiting
yeah,
for the
that's true.
longest
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Like and they did it seamlessly because there's just so much charisma oozing off of that character. I was like, oh, okay, this is an awesome character to have around.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Uh, the standard Saber overview. Uh,
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Are we
Executed
gonna
poorly.
talk about the sword that came out at the very end of the
Oh
episode?
yeah.
Because that guy was
I was
it was
not
awkward.
expecting him to have hair. I thought he was bald under the. I thought it was bald under the hood.
Um, yeah, I guess that was a plot twist, but him just kind of
You don't know what's under the hood.
Also, if he's a character now, does that mean that we have someone who can finally acknowledge Tassel in continuity?
Oh, I hope so.
I mean, he's hung out with him enough,
Yeah, I
right?
know. Yeah, he's got him so much Postmates.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Tassel's Uber driver.
what if Tassel is the sword of darkness and like they just kind of like hang out in that house? Like that's why we never like see him until like what was it? When Caliber first lost, right? And like the sword just kind of like dipped out. Then we see Tassel, you know,
Yeah,
because
yeah. Like right after. That was supposed to be juxtaposition.
yeah, because you
Uh,
never see the sword and Tassel at the same
yeah,
time.
you don't. Wait. Yeah, because Tassel was standing over the dead body or the dying body of Kento, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and Caliber was nowhere to be found. So maybe, I don't know. That's a theory.
it's not a good one, but it
No,
is
it's
one.
not. It's an entertaining one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I have kind of reached the point with Saber where I'm like, I'm all for positivity and hoping the best in things, but at a certain point, you have to know when to give up hope.
Sure.
And I feel like I'm reaching that point. Like,
I'm getting there.
we're how many episodes in?
16.
16.
Feels like longer.
That's, a little less than half of what the overall series is going to be.
I
I
guess
don't
we're
foresee
like
it getting tremendously better. I
yeah.
don't.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
So
Like
if you guys, the audience, like it,
sure.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Like enjoy it, but
I'm
I'm
glad
not
someone
enjoying it
is.
at all.
Like this would be one of the situations where if we weren't doing the show, I'd have to evaluate, do I want to keep watching this? Do
Yeah.
I care enough? And also, like, we've had moments where, hey, we don't need to sell toys this episode. So, like, you can try having a plot. Wow, that went bad. So, it goes. It goes sideways most of the time. Uh,
Yeah.
but hey, I don't know. I think that's about enough of our thoughts. Shall we get into their thoughts?
Sure.
All right.
Let's get some positivity up in here.
We'll see. Rajik Rasul says, Merry Christmas, guys. Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah.
I like this episode. This kind of pissed me off that the Sword of Logos would trust a out of the blue mysterious girl over Saber who fought with them. It gave me satisfaction. Well, technically, we don't know what they've been through together. It does feel tacked on to us as the audience. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It gave me a satisfaction. No, it gave me a satisfaction. No, it put a smile on my face to see a sword beat them. Such disappointment in the Sword of Logos lost to a sword. Man, Kamen Rider Kenzan is such a brat. He wanted to fight more. It's going to give him trauma that he lost to a sword, a flying sword. You're really laying into these guys that they lost to just a sword. um,
Like, how else do they lose? They usually lose to a sword.
yeah,
Kento
but
died to a sword.
this time it wasn't a person. It was just a sword. Typically an inanimate object. I guess this time it was animate. Animate. And also, to keep you guys update, in case you haven't heard of it, also in other news,
He's talking about the V Cinema for 01 and the new Kamen Riders coming out. It's just new stuff. We do cover all of that on RRR the Streets every week. If you want to check that out,
That's true.
I'm on that show.
I love how any chance you get when you're on RR, you're like, hey, I'm elsewhere as well.
I don't have a lot to brag about, Corey. That's all
fair.
I have.
No, you're right. That's fair. Yeah, so we are aware of the things that are happening with Rider and Sentai. Will we cover them? I don't know. As long as Gundam Corp and Overtime do. We have nothing against TV Nihon, by the way. I just don't like having hard subs, and they typically do hard subs. So, I don't know. We haven't been doing the Saber Chronicle stuff.
They're also a little bit slower, which
they
is
are.
why,
yeah.
You know, it's easier to do a show like this when it comes out earlier in the week.
Yeah, it really just falls out of our memory, and then too many of them get stacked up, and then, we just didn't. That is speaking specifically to the Saber Chronicle ones. Also, make your show better and maybe I'd be more interested. Next comment. Double the Unknown says, this episode was okay, I guess. At least in Saber standards. They are actually showing signs of understanding how to write a weekly television show, even if it is through a fairly basic writer formula. The conflict between Toma and the others seem poorly thought out, but that's no different from any other plot point this show has put out anyways. I see it as the writers quickly trying to move on from the first arc and set up the new status quo. I am worried that this new arc will just be the second arc of 01. Humans now turning into monsters, and a new writer appears who pretends to be the hero but is really responsible for all the conflict that has arisen. If this is the case, then the southern base really will just be Thouser base, like Corey joked about. I don't know if I'll enjoy the show with its new direction, but having a standard formula and direction is probably what Saber needs right now to find its identity. It's strange that we do have to fall back into a formula to, like, reestablish what it is, like, Saber is, but, you know, Rider is, more times than not, like, a lot of the enjoyment comes from liking the characters, and if we actually get character time, this will allow for it, hopefully, if they don't want to, like, move at breakneck pace anymore. So I see what you're saying there.
Yeah, like, that was, like, a complaint I had from, like, episode 2 onwards, where, like, the plot structure of Saber just, like, was really weak. Like, it needed some, like, structure to it really bad. Like, I don't care how brain dead basic it had to be, but if they're gonna go back to the main villains turn, like, a regular human into the monster for the week, boom, bam, there we go.
Yeah.
Like, what is so hard about that? They're just like trying to introduce like random monsters from different dimensions that are setting up little pocket dimensions that are gonna eat up the dimension. And it's like, can you just shut up and just do something real basic, real quick? I haven't understood any of it so far. So
Watch it happen once. And then for the rest of the people that are like seeing the thing in the sky, they just sort of like wholesale start turning them into monsters, and they have to have an all-out battle. And then they'll probably say something like, "Oh, we defeated this monster, but the book is still around. There must be more than one monster," which had been the structure of Saber for weeks.
Guys, there's more than one fish.
Oh shit! They're piranhas. I learned it from a picture book.
I just want like one of these episodes for one of the fighters just to be stopped. Just like, you know what? Fuck you for making me do more work. Like shit. I don't even want to save this little pocket dimension.
They did drop him being, him like diving into the books and being all analytical. They dropped that outright. That has not been touched again in a while. And like that was one of the better aspects. Like, oh, this will set him apart. Like this edges him out against these people that like actually know how to fight with a sword, and have had training for years. But yeah, all right. Next comment. This one comes from Peacemaker2448, who says, "Oh look, we have a divided cast through entirely nonsensical means in order for Toma to hang with Zuban. Zuban! So we can promote his toy instead of writing an intriguing mystery about what's going on. Show, I must applaud you in your ability to do the exact thing that makes me not want to watch next week's episode. Also, if they make Toma do everything Aruto did during the competition arc, I'm checking out until the arc is over. Unfortunately, we will be here. So...
I mean, I don't think the Southern base has set up a competition of 5, mini competitions to see who's better.
Yeah.
My God.
I don't foresee the second arc of, not really the second arc, but this next arc of Saber being like the second arc of 01. It's a very
Saber. Saber, you are now the enemy of the Southern base. We must do battle in a 5-part competition that will span about an hour each.
We'll put you against one of our swordsmen and see who can flower arrange best.
Hey, I like that one.
That was a good one. That was a very good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. I don't know why you guys are like comparing it to like 01 second arc, because like it feels like it's gonna be the opposite, where like the first arc was dog shit, and I feel like this one's gonna be better, just because the first one was so bad.
Because like once again this is now a show that has found their footing and is like, okay, we were gonna do more things, but then toy sales had to happen. Let's they've had ample time, I'm sure, to sort of figure something out, and I hope something works, something sticks. But then again, Ghost's writer is the main writer here, and I have little to no faith. Next comment comes from Muhammad Faiz Mustakim bin Edhan Mo, who I think, is this Faiz Daniel? I'm not sure.
I don't believe so. That also meant to say Faiz.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Hafiz. Yes. Sorry. I'm bad with names. This episode, I think, is a perfect start to the second being very calm at the beginning. I also love the concept where the people who can see the Wonder World turn into monster. I like how when the group were still sad about what happened, Rintaro/Blades try to make everything fresh again by suggesting to make a party. I don't know what the Rika the Black Clothed woman is planning with her base in the South, but I know that it isn't good. Um, the appearance of Kamen Rider Saikyo is awesome because I know there's a reason for Toma to be choose by King Arthur book. Him appearing must be warning to work with someone who is honest like Toma due to him wanting to make the right thing for people he keep promises with.
Okay, this is my 11:30 brain talking. But when he said Rika the Black Clothed Lady's planning with her base in the South, I don't know, that isn't good. My first thought was like, because her base is in the South, I'm thinking Antarctica, South Pole, and she has like a army of penguins down there who are the swordsmen for that branch of the Night of the logo.
Oh shit! Wait, Penguin. Wait, there's a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Penguin
Soldier, Penguin Knight, King Emperor Penguin.
Hell
it's a
yeah.
Penguin archetype, dude.
It's all connected.
Oh god.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Just a bunch of penguins. Imagine a bunch of penguins turning into swords.
Yo, like, and that's why she's like dressed in like all black, because like they just think that she's just a giant penguin.
She's the queen penguin. Yeah. Thanks for the comment. I believe you're new to the comments, so thank you for hopping in. Yeah. Next comment comes from K John, who says, "Happy holidays. This episode is all right." Oh, happy holidays. This episode is alright. We're finally moving from Caliber and Kento's plot, at least for now. I'm curious to see what will the Southern Base Girl and the Avalon guy bring to the show. Sort of Logos has serious communication and trust issues. Random chick just say a few words and they immediately label Toma as a traitor. I mean, they didn't try to talk things out with Toma. They just aggressively confronted him, demanding Toma to give away his power. If that is how they've been doing things every time someone in the guild behaves suspiciously, then no wonder why there are full of traitors like the two Calibers. The characters in the show need to sit down and talk things out calmly, but 16 episodes in, it seems like they just don't like to do so.
Yeah. I don't know, it's just like a game of Among Us where Black was all like, "Hey, Red's sus," and they just immediately vote him out.
Did you see that post on Twitter? Because I absolutely did see that one.
Oh, I did.
Oh wow, because that is exactly how that played out.
Oh yeah.
Do we have any more? No, we do not. So guys, thank you so much for your comments. We do not have Ryugano to give us a positive opinion on the episode, because I really wanted to see how that turns out. Either way, thank you so much for watching. If you like this episode, hit the like button and subscribe if you want to hear more from us each week. Tell us in the comments down below what you thought about our thoughts about your thoughts about this episode. And while you're down there, there are links to how you can help support the Black Lives Matter movement by donating money, signing petitions, and watching videos. Also in the description is a link to Zenkaiger merch, because I made Zenkaiger logo, a gear, and the face of Zenkaiser as a shirt, so you can get that if you would like. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Keep it.
Yep, see ya.
Bye-bye.
Ooh. I'm very thirsty. Our water purifier was like leaking or something recently, so I haven't I've been drinking water bottles.
Nice.